Yo, what's going on? It's your boy CD Rome back with another episode of Watch Your Narrative Podcast presents the league. And man, ZBL season 15. I don't know. I don't know what season we're in at this point. But if you watched last episodes, the pre-finals, and now we have the post-finals, and we have a winner by way of gentleman sweep. This team um, actually elected
It
not
was a
to
sweep, yo.
a, ge- a gentleman sweep, but probably a sweep if it was not for someone tapping into the internets of Lou and who was the other lag out? Was it Terrence? So but either way, Austin, the captain, beginning of the season, drafted a much looking a different looking team, should I say? A different looking team. But ended up getting to the finals and of course winning the finals with made the needed adjustments trade wise to be able to actually come out with a championship. So for number one, congratulations to Team Bape. Let's get that out the way first. Let's get that out the way first. We'll get that out the way first. All right. All right. So congratulations to all of you, and I want to start out by talking to the captain who drafted this team and put this team together. Of course, Austin, you are very well known for making it to. I mean, you've been in probably every final of every season that you've ever been a part of. Um, I mean, I would probably, if I was to put a percentage on it, probably 90%. Does that sound about?
That's about accurate, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, and now this is your third title.
hmm
So tell me what was different about this team and other teams that you've been able to, make it to the final and win with.
Um, this is actually something I told my team after the series was over. When it comes to the offensive side of the ball, I don't know if I've ever been as aggressive uh in a finals appearance. Um, that was in this series. I don't know if it's more of I don't think I get tentative, but I know people try to force me to um not play my game. But in this series, I wasn't gonna let that happen. Um, as far as that, I had a true lock. George, the communication was great with him and Lou and how they were playing their pick and roll. So that takes a lot of pressure off me as well. So um, all in all, I played my game like I know I could play it, and my team backed me up.
Yeah, I do agree with what you said as well with the aggressive. I can actually remember your first title being in the chats when you were playing. A lot of the conversation in the chat was like, why is Austin not being aggressive? Why is he, he's um you were deferring, to some of the other players, which I mean, hey, at the end of the day, you guys still won the title that year. But we were all wondering, like, why is he not being aggressive? This was by far one of the more aggressive aggressive runs that you've had in the finals. And and let me kick it to
And I know
George.
real
Oh,
quick with
no,
that
you go,
first
go.
chip with South Beach, um, I was still really coming. Like, I mean, I was a decent player, but I was still coming into my own. Um, and that whole playoff run, I was aggressive. That whole regular season, I was aggressive. The type of defense, I wasn't as a good of like a zone breaker offensively as Josh was back then. So in that finals, it was all right. I can focus on more of the defensive side, playmaking side. Josh in that mid-range game and Petty in the post, that was unstoppable that series. Especially Petty against Ryan Ashley. So, that
Mhm.
series, yeah, I wasn't as aggressive, but in that case, it definitely was for the betterment of the team that I
Yeah,
wasn't as aggressive.
yeah. Because sometimes as a point guard, if you're too aggressive, then you take others out of the game. Also, you do kind of have to find the proper balance. So I want to go over to George and first off, let's clap it up for Austin and George for finally being able to get together and do the job together. Like you guys both teamed up, countless times and made it to the finals as well, and just wasn't able to get over the hump together. So um, Austin, you have won twice, and then George has another championship before, really the season before. So really, he is the only person to actually, he actually repeated, from last season to this season. So George, was there anything that you took away, like from your your experiences in the last couple seasons to, because in this case you were playing lock and didn't, I mean, to me, and I think even Bullock has attested to it as well. You're a pest, so I guess anything that you took away from your maybe your Syracuse experience or what did you have in mind coming into the season?
Um, I mean, it was a it was a shaky start. Keeping it being with you, because at first my whole thought process was we're going to try to keep the team together, but then that didn't end up happening. And then folks, Keyshawn, he ain't really hit me. You feel me? To even ask, yo, what you trying to do? This, that, and the third. It was just I was just hanging out. And then finally, Chris had hit me like, yo, would you want to play with me if I get, Brian to give up his captainship? Because I legit was going to not play because I didn't want to play on Brian's team if he was the cap. So I was going to legit like be a reserve or whatever. Because I'm like, yo, that man's going to be making some weird decisions and moves and stuff like that. But then, we got on the team with Chris and everything. We was like, you feel me? We started off positive. I ain't gonna lie. But then Robbie had his wedding coming up. Brian was on the team, but then he was like studying for some tests for work or something like that. So we never really even got to play together as a full team or even practice. So that whole situation just it started off shaky as a team. Like we couldn't practice, we couldn't have a full team together when we was playing games, and then we was getting smacked. The one game where we should have won, we lost, and it was like demoralizing. You feel me? So I'm like, oh man. So I think we won one game, and it was a good game, but I don't think I think someone was missing from the other team. Someone was missing. But then I'm like, you know what? I don't really think this team is like gonna function right. So I told Chris like, yo, bro, feel me? If you could find me a trade, I appreciate that. No, after the game, he was like, whoever want to ask for a trade, y'all just let me know. And then I hit him. I texted him. I'm like, yo, I think y'all want you should find me a trade, Brody. So when I came over, at first I didn't think he was going to do it. I didn't think he was going to trade me, but then when it happened, I was like, all right, bet. It's not, you feel me? How I
Yeah,
wanted
he
to see
he didn't
it
want
go.
to. He didn't want to. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but when the trade happened, I'm like, okay, I gotta reset. I'm just gonna buy into whatever us, Neil, and Lou and them got going on. Play
Hmm.
my role up to par, and just I asked for a trade, so I got what I wanted. So
Yeah.
I was gonna make the best of it.
Best. Yeah. Yeah. So let me touch on a couple things and then I want to kick it to Chris since he was involved in that trade. But um I was one that was very curious about the beginning of the free agency as well, because I agree with what you're saying is of course the two the team split up and Uzi went one way and retained, Bullock and Fly. Keyshawn went another way, and you were the guy from a championship team, you know, that was kind of left out, hanging out in the wind and kind of unknown. So narratives, and this hence the reason why watch your narrative is a thing, because narratives can shape someone's draft or their stock. What do you think happened your way? Like why do you feel like they kind of left you out there in the
You know what it is, Joe? It's because fives during season, I don't be saying much. Like I feel like people don't see me as like a top player or anything. They just think, yo, he's one of them. He's one of the guys. He's a guy. You feel me? Like, and the thing is, I do what I need to do for the benefit of the team. I don't complain. I don't cause chaos. I don't like. I've played point before, like, and I've averaged almost a double playing point guard. I've played shooting guard, which is my primary position. I've played lock. I've played a little bit of center. I just whatever I need to do to help the team, I tend to do, and I don't talk rah rah like, oh, I'm this, I'm that. So it's like once you're like nonchalant, you kind of just fit in. So it's like whenever narrative is being pushed, it's like okay, he's replaceable, which I
yeah
am. Most people are replaceable, but people forget the chemistry thing that helps still. If you got a
yeah
guy who could fit with anyone play style, they overlook it. If you're
hmm
not with the ball in your hand, scoring 30 or doing this, that, and third, it gets overlooked. So I just think it's one of them things where it's like, okay, he's one in a million guys that could shoot the ball and play defense. We could find him replacing with someone else. So I think it's one of them things where it's like, okay, we'll find another George type player, like a Tyler or something, and just replace him or whoever. So I just think it was one of them things. I got lost in the shuffle.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure Chris would probably little Chris would probably attest to this that he probably wished that you weren't the one guarding him in the finals. Maybe that you were on his team probably. So so Chris, I mean Wavy. I mean, of course, you were a part of that trade. You reached out to George, and of course, you guys started. And as he mentioned, very rocky. And then, of course, the trade really that catapulted, Austin to be able to get to the title. I mean, what's your take on, Bape getting the title, and what's your thoughts there?
Uh, well, I did pick Saren to win the chip, but that was on if you watched the last podcast we did, that was on it was kind of hedged because I said Hunter's gonna have to, you know, show up. So is Breezy. And I also let them know at the very end of the podcast that they have a monster over there, and you got to prepare for him. And I ain't gonna lie, we was me and Johnson was talking about it the Monday morning of the finals. He brought up a good point. He was like that matchup was not great for them, and also that them jokers wasn't online hooping, and he was saying like, yeah, Oz been on late night hooping, grinding the build that he had made. I don't know what the build was called, but that he was grinding that build out. And I started getting a little bit worried about my pick, and then it came to fruition. Because after they lost that first game, deep down inside, I was like, they finna lose the series, bro. Like, because first game was a close game, right? If I'm not mistaken. And I can go look. But as far as the trade, I did not want to trade George because I like playing with George. George is one of those people that when I play with him, he allows me to just be myself. He gonna allow me to yell. He gonna allow me to get my buckets. You know what I mean? So I didn't want. He was the one guy I was hoping didn't say anything about getting traded. I was kind of hoping like Rob had to say something because I knew Rob wasn't locked in due to his wedding, and I'm pretty sure he'll bounce back if he plays again next season. But that was the one guy I didn't want to trade. I was actually very, very, which I got over it, but I was very ill at him because I'm like, bro, like you, you the only guy that's like speaking up. You the only guy that I felt was like, you know, other than Ryan too, and I didn't want to trade Ryan at all. I ain't gonna lie, that was another guy. Those were the two guys I did that were kind of untouchable, but. When George was like, which is well known, he told me he was gonna pull a Jimmy Butler. I was like, well, I ain't dealing with that, bro. So,
Hmm
I went ahead and made the deal. Did not want to. No offense to Greg and Twiz, but you know, I just felt like, Greg had become super one dimensional on that shooting guard build. And I feel like George was more of a threat, because he had other builds that he could have used. But that lock, I feel like if we could have gotten a locked in Rob, I feel like we would have probably been in the same position because we were figuring it out. And like he said, we had the Bryant situation. And Bryant, don't get offended at this podcast, bro. Like what George said and what I'm saying. Like you did tell us that you was studying for a test, and then you're playing in a whole another league. Like, so what is it? So it was a lot going on. But yeah, as far as that trade, I didn't want to make it, but in order to keep stuff rolling, I had to, man. So
Yeah. And I wanna go to Neil and Lou, and I'm gonna come to Ryan. Am I on? The mic still on?
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
you good.
So for Lou and Neil, going into the final, I'm sure you both heard some of the narratives that were going around that the finals was won in round one, and that one versus four. So how did you both approach it? Neil being a consistent glue guy, and Lou same thing, but holding down the middle. I mean, what was your thoughts hearing and knowing that, hey man, we're a force to be reckoned with as well? Like, how did you guys feel going into that? And not to mention, you guys won the season series against that team.
Yeah, man, it don't matter.
Oh
Like,
God.
yeah, I mean, it don't matter. Like, we, I think we went into it knowing, hey, it don't matter what everybody say. You got to get on. You got to lace up, man. And so,
Hmm.
yeah, the narratives are out there, but at the end of the day, we try to just not not buy into none of it. Try not do nothing cute. Didn't want to do anything different than what we had already been doing. So we really just approached it. Tried to keep a level head the whole way. Try not to get distracted. Everybody had stuff going on, but
Hmm.
we just really tried to. I mean, not allow the moment to get too big, and just just go up, be about our business. That's all I can say for real, for real.
Yeah, yeah. What about you, Lou?
You know me, never too high, never too low. That's how I get when I play the game, right? So, truthfully, man, I was confident we were gonna smack them.
Hmm.
Mm.
And
Can
so
I?
when
Oh,
I
go ahead.
when I heard the talk before, I don't fully know where it came from, but when I heard the talk before, I was like, I don't talk trash before games
Right.
because if I lose, then I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I feel good before the game.
Hmm.
I got a
It.
follow up.
Yeah.
Said so, and this is for because first of all, I want to say this team is full of players because I respect people in the league, but like a deep respect. Like everybody in this team, I have respect for in a certain type of way. But Lou, that center build you made, because I'm big on you know how I feel about me at the center position, but like I look at the stats on it, the attributes on it, and it's not that great of a center, but like you were horsing in these finals. Like you might not have had that many rebounds. I didn't really look at your stats, but like the opportune rebounds that you were getting, what went into that? Like, how were you able to go against a build that has legend rebound chaser, and you're still horsing and having your way on the boards? Because there was one possession where I think you got like three straight off. I can't remember what game, but you got three or four straight offensive boards, and on the fourth board, you passed it out and was able to get either Austin three or somebody scored. Like, what went
Yeah.
into that? Because Keyshawn Center was, not inspired by Monza, was supposed to be, this legit comp center, but he didn't look it in the finals. Let's be for real. So
So,
what went into that, Lou?
like all said, man, I think I was locked in, bro.
Had to
Before the
be.
series, I was nervous because I was like, we played them before, got killed on the boards. 99 board is tough, like to go against. So I was like, man, you know what? I'm not gonna say it, but it's really on me. If we getting beat on the boards and we giving up second chance points, that's on the big, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think before that, when I was running, I just got into a little groove, man, where I was
Crazy.
getting the right box outs, jumping at the right time, all kind of stuff. And I think that was pretty big in dominating the paint in them 4 games.
And also like y'all personalities. Three of the most easygoing guys in the league. You got G. Now G will get loud because when he in the chat with me, he get loud. But like you got Neil. Neil is a chill guy in person and on the game. You know, we joke at Neil. We say a little stuff to Neil. He just let it, roll off his shoulder. Same with you. Ryan's also can be that way. So, how did y'all personalities? And this is more of a question for Neil. How does those three? Some people might say y'all not, as we say, killers. Y'all more of attempted murderers. You know what I mean? How does how does those three personalities mesh with the Austin personality, who is a certified killer? Like, I have to give him his props. He's a certified. Like, I put him on the level of, like, me, the Jontes, the Gregs of the world, people like that just want to, take you out. But then you got you guys who y'all want to take people out, but y'all are more chill about it. How do those three personalities mesh with Austin's, Neil?
Well, I played with Aus m- multiple seasons, and
South Beach,
then
baby.
Hey, South Beach, baby. And I've also, like if I'm Cap Aus running and I get the opportunity, 9 times out of 10, Aus is my first pick, and so
Which is very rare because most people go, who most people pick
oh
in
yeah.
files first off. So,
Well, the thing is, like when it comes to Aus's, like I'll say it's different. He has different levels of his personality, and so when Aus is locked in fully, you need guys like me, Lou, George, and Ryan to say, "Hey, man, go do you." There times during the finals where we had to tell Aus, "Hey, like, no, go get a bucket." And so when it comes to that, like you can't, I think you gotta have that balance. And you
right.
gotta have guys willing to say, hey, bro, dude can't guard you, kill him. And
Hey, I agree, and I will attest to Neil because I played on Neil's team a couple times, and he's that when he know he got snipers or whoever on his team with him, he's going to encourage them. Like, he's one of the more encouraging players. Now it could be to a fault because we've heard the story with he was trying to keep Twizzy's morale up, and Austin was like, no, it's not okay. It's not okay. So, but for the most part, I do appreciate that about Neil is he's very encouraging. He keeps it up, Bill, and so is Lou. Uh, I mean, I didn't get to see it out of George because we were on a bad team to start out with. So, but I know those two guys, they definitely keep the morale up and allow Austin to be himself. So, just
Yeah.
wanted to know what went into that mindset.
And those are like those, and this is once again like why I love doing the pod when we had the Siren on and they bigged up Hunter, and because a lot of what Neil may do may not show up in the stat sheet, but when you got a guy in the locker room that's encouraging, because once again, me, you, and Chris play on the same team with the Suns, and I was like probably like Austin, just like I was pissed off a lot of times, and even though I was a role player, I was pissed off a lot of times. But Neil was always like, "It's okay, fellas. It's all right. It's all right." Which actually pissed me off even more because it wasn't okay.
Yes, yes, it was not okay. It was not.
I was like, "It's not okay. We're losing. It's
Goodness,
not okay."
we're not. We
So
got all this talent, and we losing, bro. It's
right,
not
yeah.
cool.
But it's good to have, because if everybody's crashing out, then the teams is not gonna go well. So speaking of a crash out, I'm gonna go to Ryan real quick. So
Ah!
like,
I wear my badge with honor. I ain't trying to hear none of
He's
that.
got a short temper.
Wait, stand up for me, Chris. I want to see that belly stick
I
out.
said,
Stand up.
he's got a short temper.
Stand up for me
uh,
real quick, Chris. I just want to see. I just want to see.
Oh, I got a six pack now, baby. I get on this camera. Hold
Chris
up.
might not
I'll
have
be
no
just like
pants on,
George.
man. Don't
I
you
know,
I'll be
yeah,
just
ever
like
yeah,
George,
right.
cuz.
Yeah. Let's stay seated. Let's stay seated,
I'll be just
please.
like George. I come
Let's stay.
at you. I come.
Yeah. So no, but Ryan, of course, once again, I mean, not to mention this is a chat full of champions here. So
Mhm.
Ryan, you are, been in the locker room with many different teams as well. Unfortunately, you weren't able to participate in the finals. But throughout this season, when you got to this team, did you know that this was a championship team, or did you feel like, oh man, we could possibly do it? Like, how did you feel coming into this roster? Did you think it was a championship
Well,
team?
well, at first I was like, "Dang, I got traded because of George." At first,
Yeah.
yeah,
Guilty
'cause
by association.
I was telling I was telling Chris, I was like, "Nah, man, I'll stick it out." I was like, "Win or lose,
He
I'll stick it out."
did. He did. He
Um,
did.
but then that heathen traded me with a package deal to George. I
Yo,
did, and because I used that for fuel because my if you notice, my numbers definitely did go up a little bit.
What
Um,
I do?
Partly because Rob sucks,
What you say
but
fuck me for?
it's
Like what I do?
because Rob is not a point guard. But we're gonna leave that as it is. But no, when we got here, I felt like it was a good mix of mostly chemistry and teamwork. Reason being is because you see a lot of teams, and you'll see it. There's some teams trying to be all stacked and hold the league hostage if they can't get who they want to get.
Ooh,
And
shots.
I'm gonna just call it like I call it. But
Ooh.
no, it was everyone had their role. You know what I'm saying? Like George, I know George can score at a high clip, but George was like, no, I'm gonna play defense. This is my role. You know what I'm saying? Same with like Neil. Neil was like, I'm gonna play defense. I'm gonna get steals. I'm gonna shoot when I'm open. Same with Lou. Lou was like, I'm gonna hold down the pick and roll, get rebounds. Austin score. I'm like, listen, I'll be whatever you need me to be. And Chris can back that up. Whatever you tell me to do, I don't care. And I may not be viewed as a superstar because of it, but I mean, I got more chips than most of the guys in the
Ooh,
league, so
shots.
I
Let's
don't really
go.
care. I don't really care, bro. I'll be honest with you. I don't really care. I'm here to play my role. I don't care if you view me as a superstar or not. But I felt like the chemistry was good after the first game because everybody was like, okay, you need to do this, you need to do this. And even when it was critical, like there was one time I was playing. I fouled when I shouldn't have. Everybody knows about that. Austin got on me, but that's what I needed, battery in my
Yeah.
back. And then even with all the hate we were getting and all the finals was played already, you guys gonna lose all that. I
Right.
tried
Yeah.
to I remember I talked to Lou. I tried to put a battery in his back. He was like, "No, we're gonna talk trash after we win." So, even though I couldn't
Mm.
be there, even though I couldn't be there because they didn't want to play on Friday when I was off, that's on them. They still lost. So, but
Yeah.
Austin ain't sitting me out. I was there. I was available when I was available. They wanted to play a different day. That's more than fine. They got whooped anyway. So I was sitting there cheering. I was
Yeah.
sitting there cheering. Like,
So
I was
hey,
good.
so let me go into that because let's address it. I'm like, so you not being there, that there are going to be narratives, and that's why I want to go ahead and talk about this now. So this question can be to Austin and to Ryan.
mhm.
That purposely it was done so that they can have a Terrence to be able to play and feel your not necessarily and it's nothing to do with Ryan. I don't care if it could have been George, anybody. Terrence, we all know Terrence talent. We know the talent. So and Terrence literally dropped 40 on the way of kicking, Chris's team out
You was on the
of the play-in.
team. Hold
Hey,
up.
I
Don't
didn't say
play
my.
Chris's
I didn't
team.
say my. Hey, I was the fill-in.
Yeah,
I was a
yeah, yeah.
fill-in.
You
I
was
was a
there.
fill-in.
You were
But he
getting
dropped
kicked
40.
with us.
So Austin and Ryan, let's dead that here and let's address that for everyone to
I
know
got a follow up too, said.
what
Go ahead.
happened there with with the
So,
reserve situation.
I'm gonna let Cap go first. I'm gonna let Cap go first.
so that first week, I was trying to get times, and in the process of that, Ryan messaged me and said that a bunch of people had quit where he worked, and because of
Hmm.
that, he was getting moved to nights. Now, the only night he would have been free was Friday, but we had I was leaving for a wedding. We had Robbie's wedding that weekend. Lou was out of town, so it was a lot going on. So Friday wasn't really an option. But when I talked with Ryan, it seemed like that was going to be, the only week he was working nights. So I reached out to Keyshawn. I was like, "Hey, next week, what do you got? How's Monday?" We agreed, and then Ryan comes back in the chat. I still might have to work nights.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So when that happened, you know, it's a whole nother week of working nights. We had already agreed on a time. So at that point, it was like, we got to just get this thing going. Um,
Hmm.
I did ask my team which reserve they wanted me to ask. It was actually funny. We thought Terrence was going to say no. to playing, but I asked him anyway, and he said yes. Just because Terrence had been on that, if Syrian wins, he's counting it as a chip.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but
All right, so
yeah, that's
we
how it
we
went.
Wait, okay. Let me follow
oh
up,
go
Sid.
ahead.
Let me follow
Wait,
Go.
up.
wait, all right,
No.
I'll wait.
Oh, go ahead, Ron. I didn't know you was
Uh,
about to answer. My fault.
no. All I was gonna just say, it wasn't intentional. It's just some narrative that Austin benched me or whatever, just because I had 2 bad games out of all the other games we played. Like, get real, honestly. And if anybody got a problem with it, we can one
I
v
do.
one. We can 1v1 in my
Run
court,
the
I do.
and
ones. I love
because
it.
I
this
get
this
on.
is
We
the
can
way
get
I
on right
feel.
when
Wait,
this
but
is
hold
over.
on. This is the way I feel. If you can't, if I can guard you without you hiding behind somebody or somebody helping off when I get past you,
That's a cat.
I'm
Hey,
fine
what's
with
wrong with
that.
this dude?
I'm fine
All right,
Hey, Ryan came for
so
blood.
wait. Said is gonna feel this question too. Okay, so you said you don't want that narrative, and this for us. You don't want the narrative. We got T because he blah blah blah. But were you not leading the train on the finals that me and Said played
Mm.
against you when we had to use Yoke because Elijah's schedule was terrible, and you said that we wouldn't have won that chip
I want
without
you
Yoke.
to compare what Yoke did that in that series compared to Elijah to what Terrence did in this series to what Ryan's stats would have been, and see how much of an upgrade it truly was.
It was a huge, humongous upgrade points
How he
wise,
averaged like 11 points a game in our
and
final
so did
series.
Yoke, and so did Yoke.
But isn't that what I was doing? If you look at my stats, that's what I was doing when I
And
moved to this
Takens was
team.
doing the same thing. He was giving us
That's
nine,
true.
10 points a game
But I
in the
was averaging
MMA.
10. I was averaging 10 before Terrence, so he did exactly what I do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And,
But
No,
and
what I'm
I
saying is Yoke
yeah.
did the same thing that Takens was doing for us. He only averaged like 11, 12 points that finals. So
Yeah.
that's
It
what I'm
was
saying. I feel like we should let's keep, and because this is why I want to be on this podcast. Because let's keep the same energy we had for us in the MMA that we got for
yeah.
Terrence in the
Hey,
finals.
Go
hey,
ahead, Neil.
that
Go
wasn't
ahead, Neil.
nuts. That wasn't nuts.
Yeah.
No, that's
So
where you
Yeah.
cap. That's where you
Yeah.
cap, bro. What's up,
Yeah.
that
CJ?
wasn't nuts.
Yeah. But I would say
No shade. I just want
but
energy kept. That's it.
but I would say this for to go to just to refresh it. If you think about it, the top 3 Finals MVPs for when we were with MMA, Yo wasn't even in the top 3. That was Chris Ace and then Phil who ended up winning the Finals MVP. So that just tell you
Robbed.
Yoke role for us was kind of similar to Terrence because I mean let's in
Was
this because
Yoke
I
not guarding me?
no that
No.
was Ace. That was
Ace
Ace.
was guarding you the whole
Yeah, Ace
series.
was guard. Yeah, so um
I just want the same energy kept.
but
That's
but
all.
yeah, of course that's the past, of course. But going into this series now, I agree. Me and Austin actually talked about this earlier. Because I do feel like the way y'all now IQ
Hey, so
placement, all
what
those
would have
things are a little
happened?
different.
What would have
Oh, go
happened
ahead, George.
if we beat them that game 3 when Terrence got booed in the first half and Lou left, and them dudes only won by 3 points?
I don't know, but I do know we won 2 games of the finals with Takens on the crew.
I think I'm going to be the George translator here. I'm just going to say it don't matter. They would have lost. I'm going to just say
That's
what
what
he
I'm saying.
said.
That's all I want. That's all I
Yeah,
want to say.
They
That's
would have
all I want to
lost.
say.
They
That's
would
all
have
I want to
lost.
say.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
If I didn't get kicked, we would have ended up winning that game 3.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
for sure,
Cool.
for sure.
Look.
It would
Yeah.
have been a sweep.
Let,
It'd
let's
been a sweep.
stop. Let's stop calling it Terrence and Lou got kicked. Keyshawn got on his laptop and made
I'm with you.
Lou
He
at
made
Hey,
that
bro.
call.
But look.
beginning of the second. Actually, my bad. He kicked Terrence at the beginning of the second quarter, and three
And
Oh
it's
yeah,
minutes
still.
later,
And
Lou.
look.
No.
Look. But here's the thing. And said will probably attest, Neil. Like, even though they won that game, I didn't feel no confidence in them boys. I'm like, bro,
no,
y'all still struck. Like, they would go up by
I
like
was
10
done.
points and y'all would drive it back down. I said, bro, they losing the next one.
Mm,
I was on the,
Yeah, go ahead, Lou.
I believe in momentum. So if I'm up 2-0 and I lose a game, I might get a little nervous. I was not nervous.
that's what I'm
Was not
saying.
nervous.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is, me, George, and Oss kept the ship going because, in my opinion, what we lost game 3 by like 3 points.
3 point. And
3 points.
I had a good look at the buzzer to send to overtime.
he did. Yeah,
Bro,
But
that's
and
a win.
But I
Two
mean,
AI. Let's say
I
win.
even said this to said talking that night or the next day. I can't remember which one it was. When Terrence and Lou got kicked, I mentally checked out of that game.
I
Yeah.
didn't. What was I telling you?
You didn't, and
Um,
that's your credit. I did, and I can admit that if I didn't, that game might not have even, have been as
Yeah.
close as it was.
I just
Um,
Right.
I just want to go
Yeah.
back to say, like, to what said earlier. Look at who was on all the time getting ready for the finals. Because you could say I can tell you everybody who was on because it was everybody in this chat.
I'm with you.
I mean, but even with that though, we might have been on. We didn't run as a team.
we was playing fives.
The last time
Yeah.
That's
we
what
ran
I'm
as a
saying.
team was
Look,
our
but
first World
Yeah,
but
never
Series.
practiced.
I
And
mean,
that's the thing. Like playing on Syracuse last year, yo, we started off 0-2.
Yeah.
After starting off 0-2, I swear to God, that's the most I've ever practiced on any team.
Yeah,
I don't believe
So
in it,
like,
bro. I ain't gonna lie. I don't believe in
like
all that practice. I don't.
yeah.
I don't. I never
bro,
will.
bro. We was just
But y'all
playing.
barely, George. You can't tell me that because y'all. I'm on the game. You know me. I'm on the game more than most cats is. Y'all was not practicing. I'm looking like, wait, all these jokers
No,
on the game.
I swear to God,
You talking
I
about
don't know
fake?
if they were showing
Austin in the chat with
offline or
me.
whatever
Ryan
the
in the
case
chat.
was. But
Yeah.
we like even if we was practicing to the point where it's like if one person is missing, we're hitting up one of the homeboys, yo, bring this bill out so you could try to
It's
fit in with
crazy to me,
bro.
Yeah.
dude.
Like
And
we
then,
was
and go ahead.
practicing. But on this team, like we had two practices, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Bruh.
it was too.
Yeah.
That's because when we were asked
Because
to do
me and
something,
said
it
me, I'm
was.
not gonna lie, Ryan. Me and said have butted heads on this practice thing. I'm not no,
Mm,
look, bro. I'm a game time guy. I'm gonna get in there. I can get on any bill and I'm gonna show out in a league game. Said is like, yo, this is on the Sun. And Neil will attest on the Suns, bro.
Yeah.
It was so hard to get a practice together on the Suns, and I didn't believe in it. Like I don't believe in practice. I just
Yeah.
don't. I
I,
don't.
I will say
And
this,
said,
and this is
go
just
ahead.
I think I will say game plan over practice. And when I
Yes,
mean
I'll take a
game
game plan
plan
any day.
is you don't necessarily have to practice a game plan, but you can at least discuss like, hey, how are we going to play this team? If they go into a zone, how are we gonna
We did not do
defeat the
that.
zone?
mm-hmm.
Like so, to me, game plan is one thing because I agree. You can go into practice and we've Suns went into a we played. We didn't necessarily practice a scheme or a game plan, but we at least was
Because
together.
we was trying to wind up winning the pro am
Yeah,
game. We was more
yeah.
worried about
But
winning the pro
go
am
But
ahead,
game.
Lou. Go ahead, Lou. You had a
I've been on teams where we practiced and had a plan and get into the game and don't even run what we just
Do it.
practiced in pro
Yes.
am, bro.
That's
yeah, yeah. That's the worst.
And it's
yes.
That's the
like,
worst.
so
So
what are we
so
doing,
with
man?
that going, so let's because I'm gonna kind of review over some of the games, the series that we had against Saren. What was the was there a plan? Like what was
I
the
could tell
discussion?
you.
Yeah.
So the previous series we play against James and them, right?
Hmm.
They didn't have a dominating ball handler. They brought the ball up as a
Dribble, dribble.
team. It was like a dual threat.
Yep.
So it was defeating the purpose of me being a lock. You feel me? Because if I'm guarding this person, then the other person is bringing it up. So me and Austin, the whole plan was, you know what? Let's just play them like we playing fives, like because they're gonna just play ball. They're not. It's no game plan to their offense. It's just they're
Yep.
playing basketball. It's
Yep.
not one person pick like they're just hooping. So what? All stuck on ball because I think they had line for a couple of games,
Yeah,
and
they
line
did.
kept backdooring. So I went to line. Oz was guarding ball, and we was just switching everything because there was no point of like me guarding one person as a lock because it wasn't one primary ball handler.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the game plan with them. Just talk and switch everything, communication. With Keyshawn and them, we knew it was going to be pick and roll to the death of them. Like that
Yeah.
was their main offense, and that was an advantage to me playing lock because I could do what I needed to do as a lock playing that. So
Hmm.
me and Lou, it was this communication. Lou was gonna play the pop, and I was gonna chase down to the paint because I had enough blocks to be able to wall up, and I had enough interior. So that
Hmm.
was the game plan. And then we noticed throughout the year, and even throughout the series with Chris, he's great. But then it gets to a certain point when he get bothered, the ball would go to Keyshawn, and then they would try to do the little wraparound, or he would cut down to the basket. That was their offense. So once we figured out, I'm like, all right, it might be over with for them because nothing else is
G,
happening outside of the pick and roll.
G.
That was the offense. It was just me and Lou talking up top, and everyone else playing their man and making sure they're not asleep on the other side.
Yeah.
Hey G. So I'm laughing at what you said because remember the game we actually and Ron was a part of it. Remember the game we actually beat Saren?
Yep.
And I called it out like second quarter. I said, wait a minute. Hunter keeps stopping at the top of the key and they wrap him
Yep.
and they and I noticed that in the last couple games, they won off that one that Terrence and Lou lagged out. But that game 4, y'all, I can tell y'all had figured out. Okay, they reverted back to old habits. Hunter stopping at the top of the key.
Yeah.
He's not attempting to shoot. They gonna try to cut off of it, and y'all played it perfectly. So
that's because they. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I just got a little hot take. I think we're finished. I think the league is going to get away from that comp style playing where it's just pick and roll, pick and roll, pick and roll, pick and roll, crab, pick and roll. I think we're going to get away from that. I think we're going to go back to how it was when we first started playing together, where it was more free flowing offense. Go get a bucket.
Well,
Guard your
not
man.
if you're on Bullock's team. Sorry.
Hey, don't talk about my goat like
he's
that.
He's the only person who can do that.
And I don't appreciate the
But
shots
Bullock,
you
he
Ryan.
perfected that though. Like,
Yeah.
and that's the difference between Chris and Bullock. Like, it's not just pick and roll, hit the roller, or shoot the three. That man is like actually controlling offense, yo. Like I playing with him.
Chris.
At first, I used to hate it. I'm like, yo, this nigga.
Bullock. You talking about Bullock?
Okay, talking about John.
Pardon my French. He's hiding behind strings. Like me and him got into it one time, like playing fives. I'm like, bro, like you a great scorer, but you're not scoring on me without strings. And then when I was on the team with him, I'm like, yo, he's doing more. Like it's more than him just calling for a pick. Like he's saying, like he's calling plays, he's calling flare ups. So I have a newfound respect.
The GOAT!
Because I don't think any other person can really do it how he does it.
So I got to stop you right there, George.
The GOAT!
Other people do the same thing. Like the reason, and I'm sticking up for Aus right now. The reason Aus was not calling out multiple things if he was running the pick and roll is because he was killing the pick and roll.
Yeah.
And so he didn't have to. We just need to everybody find your spots. And so I'm not,
No, I hear you, but most of the times when Bullock pick and roll,
still though, Neil, like I'm a realist
every time too, though, is what I'm saying.
Like I'm a realist. I can give credit where credit is due. I can't do half the things that Ajante do in the PNR. I mean,
I like playing with both of them, honestly. So
I'll be honest with you. I agree with George.
PNR players, though.
Yeah,
I
like playing with. That's what I'm saying.
Neil is 100%
pick
right.
and roll. It works for him. Like he has that
because
master to a T.
Cause I ain't trying to diss, but like you see other people try and copy that style. I'm just gonna say it ain't a diss, but I'm just gonna be playing. Like you see when Martin try and do it, it ain't the same. I'm being honest.
Shots!
It's not the same as when Ajante do it. Ajante got that lock,
bro. The clip should be empty. The clip should be empty.
You got a Draco. It's a Drake.
Come on, y'all. All y'all know me in person. I speak like this to people's faces. Don't do
it. To Austin's credit and what Neil's saying, I like playing with Bullock and I like playing with Aust when they do run the pick and roll because Aust, with Ajante, you're watching a lot. I'm not gonna lie. You kind of sitting there and you watching them score. Aust is more going to try to get people involved. And Ajante does get you involved, but like I said, I like watching him. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I'll be, playing the game with him and I'll be sitting on the hash the whole game and don't even realize I got 4 shots. And then I'll start getting mad a little bit. But like with Aus, he's getting more people involved. Like I know, like if Aus sees that like I got it going, he gonna hit me. If he sees Ryan's got it going, he gonna hit Ryan. So they have different styles and both are championship styles. I mean,
I can attest. Yes, I can speak, bro. Last season with Syracuse, bro. As far as like, I wasn't watching the ball, playing it too hard. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I mean, he hits his 2 guards though. He hits his 2 guards.
Yeah. Well, let me say this,
bro.
Even he was.
I mean, Keyshawn was getting plays. Like
I wanna make sure that No offense. Bullock had his run. He got put out first round. We're gonna focus on Bape. All love to Bullock. All love to Bullock. But I want to make sure I give y'all love. Like this he gets enough. He gets enough, okay?
The
I don't care.
GOAT!
He
Said,
The
gets
GOAT!
enough.
I'm
He's
saying,
the
He gets
GOAT!
enough.
The greatest of
He
all
gets enough.
time!
we talk about you
So
all the time, man.
yeah,
What?
man, that man like
I'm gonna
LeBron,
talk
boy.
about him some more
Hey,
if I want
hey,
to.
it's like, hey, what they say? OKC, what he
KFC,
Oh,
GMC,
UFC,
KFC.
Bape
Syracuse,
and 4.
Bullock and
Bape and
five,
4.
Bullock and five.
But yeah,
No,
all love
but
to. I mean,
I,
they
I want to
won the
go
chip,
to
bro.
I want to
Go
go to
ahead.
Austin, because it hasn't been done yet. It has not been done yet. I wish the vote would have already came, but I want to go through some numbers here, and everybody played an important role. But first game, Austin 17-10. Uh, Second game, 37-8. And a lot of that happened
How the heck you give up 37? What was y'all
set
doing on
a lot of
defense?
that happened third quarter. Third quarter, you guys outscored 20 to 10. And I remember watching the game. This was the game where Austin made the comment, was like, uh, everybody keep talking about Hunter. He's still trash.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. If I had heard that, I would have lost it, bro.
Man,
Oh
I'm watching the
man,
screen and I am literally
is that
dying, man.
video still up? I'm gonna go click that.
I'm literally dying. So, Austin, what did you see? Like, what? Because I felt like you were having your way you literally ran a full circle around Austin. I'm a Hunter at one point when you went around the pick and roll, like almost like Steve Nash, like were you just playing with him? And no, I'm
Whoa.
sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, excuse me. But what did you,
Dang.
what did you figure out? What did you see and figure out against their defense in the pick and roll?
Um, I mean, early on, it looked like they were playing very heavy drop coverage off the screen, just expecting me to,
Get
just try to
downhill.
get downhill.
Yeah.
Um, the first game I only took 9 shots. They were dropping from the corner, leaving Neil a lot. Lou was open quite a bit, top of the key on the pops. Um, Second game, I came out a little more aggressive, I think, from three, forced Hunter to start to step up. And really, it's just the game within the game. When it comes to even certain animations, like I know if I get that push dribble, it's almost a guaranteed dunk every time. Um, and after that, I don't know if there was miscommunication. One of their teammates went to the chat after the game and said the word brain dead. I don't know if that deals with their communication on the defensive
Nah,
side of the ball.
I
Could be.
got the intel on that.
Oh, you got the intel? Okay, okay,
Who
okay.
said that?
Um,
Say it.
but
Say it.
yeah, I think
I ain't gonna do him
I
like
just
that,
had
but
it
it was
going.
not for his team.
Okay,
So,
well,
go ahead.
but yeah, they forced the switch. Um, Games 3 and 4. Uh, it had been a while, especially with Hunter playing on center. I know they talked about Hunter's rotations were a little slow when he was on
Yeah.
center, so I kind of wanted to force that issue too in the later games.
Yeah.
But as far as what is said during streams, I can't be
Held
held
responsible.
liable for, especially during a finals moment.
Oh yeah, no, but well, I'm a competitive. I first of all completely loved it because I know how, uh, when you're in the heat of battle is what I would call it. You know, you just say whatever you feel, and when you're one of those guys. Like we already know this. You've been to the most finals, not even close. I don't think there's a close second. Like I said, you probably don't even know the number at this point. But you've been to the most finals, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not because you're not a dog. You don't do that. It's almost like that LeBron. I mean, we always say you're the LeBron of the league, because you can dominate. It doesn't matter. You've taken because let me be I'll be very clear and I'll be very honest. When you got this team in the free agency, I was wondering exactly what you were doing. I don't know if that was this year. I think I may have even in text you, and I told you that, you know, these guys are going to have to be more aggressive than normal because of the team that you selected. You had Neil, Twiz,
Boo.
Lou, who outside of Greg, who's very aggressive. Everybody else is kind of they're chill. We talked about it earlier in the episode. They're chill and they play their role. And at times you need that person alongside with you to be a dog. But yet because
Yeah,
of your play
but
style,
I also
go,
can't have somebody on my team shooting 12% from three.
Ha!
yeah,
The
that don't
shots
help.
they keep ringing. They keep ringing.
So, and then I'll make sure I bring up
Or somebody who's constantly calling for the ball.
Lou as well. Lou, Chris alluded to it. Like I'm looking at game 4. Um,
Orston.
their team had 12 rebounds game 4. Lou
What?
had 12 rebounds by himself. By himself. And
Oh
I want to
no.
make sure because I know the stats because I looked.
Oh
And tell me
no.
if I'm wrong. 94 offense and then 92 defense or switch around.
Yeah, that's right. 94 92D.
Oh my
And
goodness.
94. That's not even 96 where you can get the Hall of Fame
Mm-mm.
and pop like so that's just skill work. That's just
Yeah.
call it what it is. That's skill work. That's
Why
placement,
can't I
knowing
ever get
where
these matchups?
how to box out, knowing how to box out. So like I want to give credit to Lou and everybody on the team to even Ryan who that first series, was hooping. Was hooping
Yes.
and was able to kind of get you guys to in a place to be able to win a championship. But I
Mm-hmm.
think without I don't know if anybody would argue the case that Austin with that 37, 24, those games he probably would win and should win his first Finals MVP. And with that being said, everybody knows I did the table and I know that table conversation did turn a lot of heads, and then had some people, talking and chatting. But I just want to say there has been some furniture move. I don't know quite where yet. But definitely table 2. I just don't know who has to get up from the table, and I'm not ready to talk about that because Chris is at that table, and I don't want him to get upset at this moment. But I'm not saying that he has to get up,
Oh, you
but
moving
somebody
me?
has to get up. Somebody has to get up. Just want to say that. So, but congratulations, Austin. First finals should be first finals MVP.
Y'all see,
Uh,
he basically told me I was getting up.
Thank you, sir.
no,
Thank you.
no, not at all. Didn't say that because I mean it could be Yoke, could be Sat. Who knows? It won't be
Mm-hmm.
Kyle. I'll tell you that.
Why?
But it won't be
Oh my
Kyle. It won't be Kyle. 3 titles. But anyway,
God.
uh, but no, but and we'll get ready to wrap it up here shortly. But um, I want you guys to wrap it up for me. Going into the season, I'm gonna go to Lou first, Lou and Neil first. Going into the season, when you signed, because this was free agency. When you both signed with Austin, did you expect to be last man standing championship? Honestly, when you seen everybody that was on the
I'm a
team at that point, what did you feel had to happen for you guys to win a title?
real talk said, real talk. When I saw the team, so this is interesting, but I think every time me and Austin have ever played on the team together, we've been to the finals.
Yeah,
I'm pretty positive that's the case.
yeah.
So you go in and it's like you confident on one front, but let's just be real. When you look at Ginyu Force, you like,
Hmm.
man,
Yep.
them boys got because mostly everybody knows Ginyu Force was actually Ginyu Force shouldn't have happened, and it was a technical error that
Right. Right.
it
Yeah.
it happened. And I mean, you looking at Ginyu Force, you like real talk, man. Hey, I'm not sure if we can if we can get those guys. And of course, I don't think we beat them one time during the season. And
Hmm.
so you think about that type of thing. I At the end of the day, man, you always got to realize you still got to get out there and play a game because every
You got
single
to.
one of us has been in a fives game where you look at one team, you like, how did this team get picked? And then the
Right.
other team, you like, they got some decent pieces. But it's, man, at the end of the day, I knew we was going to have chemistry. So that's how we already going to have a leg up with people. And, man, end of the day, I would say I knew it was going to be tough, but I didn't necessarily think that we would. I mean,
Win
you
the
just got
title.
to play the games.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got to
yeah.
play the games. I didn't count us out, but I
Beginning
didn't see it working out the way it did. I say that.
Yeah. What about you, Lou?
beginning of the season, I knew we was gonna be all right, but I was like, man, getting you a Justice League, the rosters they had, I was like, it's
Yeah.
gonna be tough, unless we play above what I see. I'm gonna tell you the truth. After the trade, man, I was confident though, but I knew the chemistry was 100% there. I just knew it was gonna come down to small things, bro, making the shots, the second chance points, and the turnovers. And so I feel like we really locked in on Justice League, and I was good. Preseason, I was like, let's just see what happens. But I
Mhm.
don't never expect to lose now. So,
Right.
12%
Yeah.
from three.
So let me follow. I got two follow-ups to both you guys. You guys brought up some great points. So number one, um to Lou, what was the change in the locker room you feel? Was it game? Was it atmosphere? Was it what changed in the locker? What do you feel? What changed in the locker room? No,
it
no, you
it
make it.
it
That's why
was
I asked Lou.
atmosphere. It was atmosphere because I played 2K with Austin for the last few years, like for the pandemic. I haven't played with George and Ryan way longer than I played with Greg. Truthfully, Greg is a talent, but I had more chemistry with them because I played with them well before I even got into league play.
Yeah.
So after the trade happened, it was like, well, you know, these two guys I run with all the time. I've run with all the time. So, it was cool, man.
Chemotherapy.
So, and I guess my other question I would ask is and this is to Neil, and I want this to Austin as well, because Neil, you brought up matchups. Matchups do make fights. They really
Mhm.
do. And
Style.
Saren, I felt like they had Ginyu's number, just like you guys had Saren's number, and vice versa. Ginyu had Bape's number. So Saren did a job for you. So because I did hear, you know, some rumblings of people saying that, man, if Ginyu the finals would have been different if Ginyu would have gotten there compared to Saren, because you guys had their number. How important is matchups, and do you guys feel like, do you think it would have been a difference? I know your answer, but
Said,
just humor me here.
said, it don't matter. They ain't make
Yeah.
it. It don't matter. Nah, man. So listen, man, for real, for real.
KFC, PCB, Bacon 5.
Baby and four. Baby and four.
Oh.
So yeah, style. Everybody knows styles make fights. Everybody knows that, and it was kind of like a round robin the way you described it. But here's the thing: regular season,
That's
Mhm.
me.
regular
Neil
season.
came with the switch.
What happens in the regular season
Yeah.
does not. If you make it to the dance, it don't matter.
Yeah.
We in March Madness. We just dealt with our own March Madness in the league. And so, man, dude, once you get into the playoffs, y'all, you and Chris know this better than
Yeah.
just about anybody.
Yeah.
It's certain people you don't want to see in a playoff environment. It's
I'm one
certain
of them.
people you don't want to see in a playoff environment. Y'all were the last seed in MMA that year, and y'all won the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, man, once it gets to the playoffs, man, it's a blank slate. Everybody, so that's why I say, like, even if Ginyu had made it, what is it, Lou? You got KFC, UFC, UFO, HBO,
NBC.
PTO, Bape and Foe.
Hey, they can't say nothing. Ooh, that's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah. So Austin, what's your thoughts on the matchup thing
So,
there?
uh, so for the matchup, I think Neil and Lou can attest to this. Ryan as well. As soon as Genyu lost that series to Siren, I went into our team chat and it was like we won the chip. Like from jump. Like I really wasn't.
Confidence.
Yeah.
Post the receipts.
I mean, I could, but we were full. Well, I won't say we. I was fully expecting to be playing Bulak and
Yeah.
Genyu, for sure. Before the season started, Chris can attest to this. I had my team and his team as the fourth and fifth seed playing in the play-in spot. That was the amount of respect I had for the other teams, but for what I had seen from how we were playing going to the finals, I thought we were good. I definitely think Ginyu would have been a tougher matchup, though.
Yeah.
We know who we wanted.
And part of that would have been my fault as well because I have said some things to Ajante that I shouldn't have said that could have given some extra motivation.
Yeah.
But
Hey man, sorry, talk your
know.
talk. But and we'll get ready to wrap it up here. Let you guys go. And for as because I that the biggest things that I think that trade was so huge. The trade was huge. So to the
Chris, I
captain
appreciate
Austin,
my ring.
yeah, like what went into that trade, and what do you think? What changed in your team dynamic? I know Lou,
I
answered it
mean,
there.
you can't
Just tell
function.
the truth, man.
You can't
Please, I
function.
want to
You
hear it.
can't. All right. You can't function as a point guard when you don't trust somebody when you pass them the ball. Every time I passed the ball to Twizzy, I
Thank
knew
you.
that ball was gonna miss. It was gonna break.
Dang.
It was gonna. It didn't matter. I'll give into the bait here a little bit. I passed Greg the ball. He missed. It was half a second late. He wasn't ready for it no more. No matter what I did, it was my fault.
Yeah, yeah, that
And
hurts.
I
Thank
just,
you, Oz. Yes.
Yeah,
I'll give the people what they want to hear with these
yeah,
answers.
yeah. Well,
Let
yeah,
the clips on.
It was
yeah,
just it got easier going after that
uh,
trade.
yeah. Well, and I say this about because no bait there, but honestly, I'm all about no, and it's serious, the truth, man, the
Just
truth,
tell the truth, bro.
because I think these things have already been said. We all know it, and
Mhm.
you know, we
Yeah.
know. We
So
seen and the
What
percentages
do
are
we
the
know,
percentages.
Sid? What do we
I
know?
mean,
Well,
so once
I'm
again,
not even in
Greg.
the league, and I knew that Twiz was having a rough time shooting the ball.
Mhm.
I've been on the team with Greg, so I already know
Yeah.
I already know how that
So I
is.
mean, and you
So
look at
yeah,
Greg's numbers: 19 points a game, played
yeah,
good
who was
defense. That's
yes,
great.
yes,
But I,
yeah,
I can't be second guessing my own decisions and second guessing my teammates, and that's what was happening
Mm.
yeah,
before that
yeah,
trade.
and not to make it about that because Greg, once again, talented player, right? Twiz is a champion, multi-time champion, and but he's not on the game a lot either. So
Study, fall
that's a
off
little
being
bit of
forget
it.
study.
Yeah, that's a little bit of it. But what
Kill.
what what I'll say is is this, and this is to Austin, this is to the rest of the league as well. Like what because let's be honest, there were players in the free agency, and I'm not even talking about myself because I was not a free agent. I was not a part of ZBL this season. But there were players,
Mm-hmm.
valuable players as free agents that could have served a good purpose.
Mm-hmm.
What and I'm not even just, JP my boy. I'm talking even Ahmad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what
Mm.
is it like is there I'm just saying like what's the
I
not just
disagree
to
with that,
to
but
well I mean Ahmad is shooting 55% in the rec.
Mhm.
And probably Param, he's gonna shoot more than he's gonna shoot 30%,
So
35%. He's on. Yeah.
so for me, which it ended up not really being that way anyway. I thought Twiz was gonna come in at center. It really I didn't think it was gonna be Lou at jump.
Mm,
Um, Ahmad doesn't play center, neither does JP, so that had a lot to do with that from the jump. Um,
gotcha.
During the season, we made the adjustment to Twiz, trying every build he submitted. Um, you know, I tried to give him ample opportunity.
Right. I respect
Because
that.
Hey, hey,
but
Oz. Can I just say this? And I gotta defend my boy Twizzy because I love him. I do. I don't think it was a user error. Sometimes people have a build and the build will be tough, but it's the user.
mhm.
If you go and look, and Oz will attest because I know he looked over them builds 100,000 times trying to find some positivity. Those builds that he submitted were terrible,
Yeah, they're not the
and
best, but
I mean,
just
like,
because
like
you don't have the best build doesn't mean you can't work with it. I mean, once again,
that's true because
we
they
was
all
talking
get to
about
99, don't they? I
yeah. I
mean,
mean, we was talking about even Lou, like with rebounding. Lou's going
Right.
against people with
94,
99. He
92.
got 94
Right.
rebounding, and he making
Yep.
up for it.
Yeah.
If you're
Skill.
making a build with a low 80s three ball, or you know, you got to make up skill wise for the build.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't
So
happen.
either way, not to harp on that, but happy that you guys were able to, because seldom, very seldom, like most championships are won with the team that they drafted. They may struggle at first, and then they go on this crazy run, or they may dominate the entire season, like South
And
Beach did,
lose. And
and and then they win the finals. Like
mm-hmm.
usually there's not a change in the roster because it's so
Yeah.
difficult to mid-season make a trade, and then now you have to build chemistry, on the fly and
Mhm.
right. Because usually if you're gonna make a trade, it's usually like game 6, right at or game 8, whenever your trade deadline is.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
we did the trade the night of the deadline. I think it
Midnight.
exactly.
was. So, and then,
Yeah.
the last week of the season, there were some forfeits given. So, we didn't even play all the games we could have played.
Right.
But
But
part of that trade is, though, making it work is, once again, I played with George so many times, um, playing with Ryan on a regular basis. I think, just like Lou said, there's already built in chemistry there after that trade, um,
I, I think
which definitely
most.
helps.
I think this team. I can say personally, I've played even before we joined this league. I've played with everyone. I think except Neil all all throughout COVID before we joined this league. So I think that did help. Um, I also know for me, I think everyone on this team knew what Austin expected of us as a point guard from playing with him before. So I do think that also made a big difference. No one was trying to, care about their numbers or how they're looked in the league or anything. Everybody, like I said before, just played their role. Austin took the lead. We just followed it.
yep. And I'm gonna close it out, and I'm gonna say this, you know, congratulations to the entire Bape team. You got Lou, big man holding it down in the middle. You got Neil, the ultimate glue guy. I always call him an AI because literally he plays like an AI. I mean, does not make many mistakes. Defensively is going to be in the lanes, guards you perfectly like he's an AI. Then you got George the lock, Ryan the bucket, and then Austin Finals MVP. And I'm going to go ahead and set the narrative here now. If there's another season, beware. If Austin gets his hand on another title, we gotta have this conversation about a Gote, and
The
let's
goat.
let's talk. I mean, we gotta open up this conversation. I'm just letting
I
it
Hey
be
will
man,
known.
refuse to talk. You hear
if
I'm
me?
just letting it
hey
be
I will
known.
said
cut my
if
lips
I'm
off.
just
I'm
letting it
not
be
talking.
known.
if ifs were
If
fists, man, if ifs were fists.
ifs, there you go, there you go, there you go. Well, listen, Neil, can you please close us out with something very, just give us something Neilish, man. Come on,
Is he
man.
gonna pray?
Thanks.
Bow your head, man.
I ain't say
Bow your
Brother
head.
Johnson now. I did not say Brother Johnson now.
He's like,
I
he's
know
like,
how it is, man. When morale is down, Neil is in town. That's how we
Hey!
rolling,
There you go.
fellas. So we out, closing out the season the way we're supposed to. Y'all be on the lookout. It's time for
That's
us to
right.
get a seat at the table.
Yes,
By
sir.
himself. By
Yeah.
himself. What's
Uh-oh,
up?
not by himself. Uh-oh. Wait a minute
By
now.
himself.
And then now we're no longer saying South Beach, baby. We saying what?
babe.
Hey, y'all know what it is. KFC, UFC, UFO, PTO, HBO,
Babe
Bape
in
in
four.
full.
Bape and four, baby. Bape and four. We